Your friend is excellent company. I'm sure she was. Mother, may I ask you a question? Always. Why did you help me learn this? Dr. Noguchi looked seriously at her daughter. I believe information is power. I could never teach you everything I wanted to. There's never enough time. But I did give you the best education I could. Someday that education may be as important to you as the skills your father taught you. It is my duty to prepare you for all situations, and withholding information detracts from my duty. Do you understand? I do, and I'm grateful for the trust. Besides, if something happens to you, who will give me grandchildren? She stood stunned and blushed in front of Virtuoso. Mother! Have you met any nice boys at Alpha? Virtuoso stepped in to save her friend. All the boys at Alpha act like small children. They're so immature. All the better. That way you can mold them before they're strong enough to fight it, Dr. Noguchi said with a clenched fist. I think we're going to go now, she said. Don't go. I have She's baby pictures to show you. When she was 2, we couldn't keep clothes on her. Dr. Noguchi was having a hard time keeping a straight face. Mother, she said. Thank you for the tour of your base, Dr. Noguchi, Virtuoso said. You're welcome, Jilly. Jet, be sure to call your father tonight and thank him for the favor. I will. Goodbye. She hugged her mother, and after a few more farewells, the girls were gone. She and Virtuoso appeared back in their dorm common room. It was getting late, and most of the others were in their rooms. Bioforce was watching a DVD on the history of the HU on the big screen. She sensed the life forces that joined her in the room. You're back. Did you find out anything? Bioforce asked. Yeah, I learned it all. We may want to get the others, so I have to only say it once, she said. One by one, they all came from their bedrooms. Soon, everyone was seated in the common room. She took a deep breath and began. First off, everything I tell you is for this team only. It can never leave this room or be repeated. Agreed? First team all agreed, and she continued. Manchester Jack came to the attention of some of the big names when he was only 14. He was so powerful they thought he was another Omni. Not the person, but the designation Omni. Designation? Darkspeed asked. Apparently, the HU brains theorize that Omni is a class of super being where their powers are unlimited. The superhero called Omni is the only one we know of. Manchester Jack had powers identical to Omni, right down to his senses and how he manipulated energy. But his power was limited, vast but not unlimited. So he could not be classified as a true Omni. When Omni, the superhero, learned of Manchester Jack, Omni took him on as an apprentice. That was in 1976, 11 years after Omni had Vector as an apprentice. Vector was 17 when he was Omni's apprentice. Manchester Jack was only 15. The first team of 6 had already been formed, 2 years earlier in 1974. So in 1976, when there were no academies, they still took on apprentices. They just tagged along with the team. So Connors knew Vector? Bioforce asked. I was getting to that, she said. Manchester Jack served his apprenticeship under Omni for 3 years before the betrayal on Black Monday. He knew everyone on first team like family. When Vector tried to kill off the first team, he did it when Omni was away. He tried to kill them all, Mercy, Kodiak, Antigos, and Longbow. All of them were dead or dying when Manchester Jack returned from a mission Omni sent him on. He was able to drive Vector off and save 2 team members, Kodiak and Mercy. Wait, Darkspeed continued. Connor said Mercy died. She didn't. She lived. Her real name is Declute. Bioforce was stunned. My Declute? Yes. Your grandmother was Mercy from the first team of 6, she confirmed. Bioforce stood up and walked for a moment while trying to get a handle on reality. My grandmother was the healer for the first team ever? Yes. Bioforce forced herself to talk. This is huge. I always thought she was a businesswoman, then a HU administrator. You had to think your healing power came from somewhere, Olympian added. Yes, but not this. Bioforce seemed a little better and sat down. Jet, please continue. Darkspeed noticed She's posture had not changed. She started anew. After the betrayal, Kodiak and Mercy spent weeks recovering. Manchester Jack was 18 years old. He worked directly with Omni on starting the HU. His power level made him more than a match for the supervillains of the day. Over the next 21 months, he and Omni led the teams that fought the war. By the best guesses that the HU can put together, Manchester Jack had almost as many kills as Omni by the end of the war. How many? Olympian asked. Omni had over 1,600. They put Manchester Jack at about 1,300. He killed 1,300 people? Midas asked. 1,300 costume supers. That's not counting Vector's techs and followers. Vector had followers? Virtuoso asked. He had more followers than you may think. According to what I read, he drew a lot of people in important positions to his side. Supervillains and takers of lives, remember? Olympian said coldly. I guess that would qualify as getting wet, Bioforce said. Darkspeed looked to see She in the same posture. Don't tell me there's more, he asked. She nodded. In the final battle, Omni, Manchester Jack, and Kodiak had finally cornered Vector, or so they thought. He had a weapon he thought could kill Omni. He created a cannon that could trick the laws of physics. It could fire a black ball of highly charged energy that could mimic near infinite mass and speed, even if only for an instant. Vector thought his new super weapon could kill Omni. It didn't, but it badly wounded Manchester Jack. Omni stepped in front of the cannon to save him. Omni then increased the gravity so only the super strong could walk. Vector was held fast. Kodiak was on him while Omni checked Jack. Vector fought back, but Kodiak was, well, Kodiak. With his strength and tenacity, he tore Vector's right arm off. As a last act, Vector tried to detonate some doomsday super nuke or something. They're not sure. Omni vaporized him, whatever bomb there was, most of Vector's base, and part of the Libyan desert. Libya? Darkspeed asked. Yup, just like here. Easy to hide in the desert where no one lives. When Manchester Jack healed up, Omni was writing the Tokyo Initiative. Once the HU was formally enacted, Omni put Manchester Jack in as first coach to pass on what he learned. Then, Omni retired. First Team was stunned at some of the revelations, Bioforce most of all. You'd think she would have told me something like that. As you can tell, these people are pretty serious about their secrets around here, Darkspeed said. Why didn't they just make this stuff public? Virtuoso asked. They can't. Part of tactical strength is your opponent not knowing your weaknesses. How they fought and who they fought, who and how they deployed is all valuable information, she added. And do you want every mad scientist to know Vector was able to invent some cannon that was almost able to hurt Omni? Once they knew it was done, they would all be trying to recreate it, Olympian added. So why not just tell us he was Manchester Jack? Virtuoso asked. Why would he want to? Midas finally spoke. What do you mean? Bioforce asked. Well, it's not our right to know everything. If he doesn't want to tell us, he doesn't have to. Sometimes you just don't want everyone to know everything about you. I know enough, Olympian said with conviction. Enough about what? Bioforce said. Connors, he's the real deal. He was second only to Omni. He fought the worst of the worst and won. He's not only a superhero, he's a war hero. He's trained the 3 best teams in the world, and we're his 4th team. As far as I'm concerned, everything he says is gospel from now on. Olympian made a steadfast look that didn't blink. Bioforce had been in thought for a moment when she asked her question. The documents you saw said that Omni was a designation or a class of superhero? Yes, and I quickly read some other theoretical work. The idea was that an Omni didn't need to be like the Omni. Their powers or power could be anything. The HU spent untold resources trying to find the genetic sequence that would cause an Omni to happen, she said. Did they? No, it's still a big mystery. Whatever it is, we need to get to bed, Darkspeed asked. Did it say where Omni is today? Olympian asked. No, for that information it says to see Mr. McFarlane, Secretary of the HU, and ask him, she said. I won't be doing that, Olympian said. The others started heading to their rooms. Bioforce walked over to the recessed statue in the wall of the first healer. Bioforce touched the statue of her grandmother and traced the surface of its face with her fingers. She walked over and placed a hand on her shoulder. Looks like you have superhero in your blood too, she said. Yeah, welcome to the club, Olympian said as he went into his room. I never even suspected. I mean, she never even wore a mask, Bioforce said. The pictures don't even look like her. Honey, you can look like anyone you want to. Why couldn't she? She asked. My mother was only able to heal. I thought my grandmother could only heal. Maybe she can do more. Whatever you do, don't ask her. If you know something you shouldn't, it's a dead giveaway that we were looking into things we weren't supposed to. She was firm with her tone. I know. I'll see you in the morning.